Hi friends, it's Amy. Welcome to my bookish life. Today we're going to check in my reading from June 8th to June 20th. So let's get to it. So last week I was having the time of my life at Badger Girl State, which is sponsored by the American Legion Auxiliary, of which I am a member, a very proud member of, and I had a blast volunteering. I love volunteering with this program, but it takes it out of you. So from Friday the 14th to Friday the 21st, I was pretty much going nonstop. I got home at 3 o'clock on Friday and I went to bed. I basically slept most of Saturday away, and I'm finally starting to feel awake. It is now Sunday the 22nd. It is now Sunday the 23rd. I have a bunch of books that I want to talk about. I didn't get a whole lot of reading done while I was at Badger Girl, and that's okay. I did read every day, just not as much as I would during a regular week. Since the last time I checked in, I have finished 5 books, which brings my total for the month of June to 7. I am hoping to get a lot more read next week, as I'm really going to be hunkering down and just reading, since I'm not preparing for Badger Girl and I'm not getting my classroom ready. I'm really going to get some time that I can just sit and concentrate on that. But the first book that I finished was 14 Days, that was edited by Margaret Atwood. It's by 36 different authors who each write different stories that take place. It takes place during COVID from March 31st to April 13th of 2020. And it's really a fascinating concept that I really was drawn into. There were definitely parts of the book that were strange, peculiar, but I really liked how the book came around at the end and how everything was connected at the end. I know that that is a controversial opinion. I don't know if it's controversial, but I know that there are some people that don't like how it came together at the end, and I absolutely get it, but I loved it. I was totally in favor for it. I thought it was wonderfully written, wonderfully done, and I gave it 4 stars. Our discussion about it at book club was really fun. The next book that I finished was My Father's Dragon by Ruth Stiles Gannett. During my May wrap-up, I had a bunch of read-alouds that I had done with my students in my wrap-up, and I asked what everybody's favorite read aloud they ever had read to them as a child by a teacher. And Sarah Loomis 2034 talked about My Father's Dragon and how it was whimsical and beautiful and how much she really loved it. And I happened to have a copy in my classroom library. I grabbed it off the shelf and I read it. I read it probably in an hour. It's a short little wisp of a book, and it is absolutely whimsical and kind of delightful. I just really enjoyed it. The narrator of the story is completely unknown throughout the book. The narrator is telling the story about their father, and the father goes to this enchanted fantasy world and is trying to get to a dragon in order to save it so that the dragon will fly him around the world. And he encounters all kind of obstacles, and the way that he gets out of those obstacles is just, it's so cute and it's so fantasy, but it's a lot of fun. And this was a Newbery Honor book that I had never read before, so I have now read it. So thank you so much, Sarah Loomis 2034, for recommending this book. I think it might be one that I at least recommend to my students, if not read aloud to them, because this one, it was fun. It was fun. So definitely recommend. The next book that I finished was The Duke and I by Julia Quinn, #1 in the Bridgerton series. I don't know how much I really need to say about this book because Bridgerton, now I get to watch the Bridgerton series. I'm kind of excited about that. I did have some issues with this book, I think, in terms of consent and things like that. There were definite issues that should have been addressed even during this time period, but they were not. So I did have some issue with that, but all in all, I really did enjoy the book. I thought it was quirky and I really enjoyed it. And I started watching the series, and the series is really delightful. So, I mean, I do think that I'm going to continue with the Bridgerton books. I don't know. If you know, you know. I just feel like there were things that were kind of glossed over that shouldn't have been glossed over. So anyway, the next book that I finished, I was listening to and reading physically, but I finished listening to it on my way up to Badger Girl. This is Rules by Cynthia Lord. This is also a Newbery Honor book. I really enjoyed this book. I think that I said this, that I thought that I had read this and I couldn't remember. Goodreads said I hadn't read it, and there were definitely things that I didn't remember as I read it. So I think it might actually be the first time that I read it, which seems weird to me, but whatever, it's fine. But Catherine is the main character, and her younger brother, David, is on the autism spectrum, and she lives her life kind of relaying these rules to her brother that he needs to be taught because they don't come naturally to him in his neurodivergent brain. And she goes to a lot of his appointments and kind of is overlooked a lot in terms of not needing as much care or special attention that her brother does, and kind of her conflicting emotions with that, because as much as she loves her brother, she also feels like he takes up a lot of the attention in the family, and that is hard for her. It really focuses on a neurotypical child's response to having a sibling with neurodivergence. So in terms of what she sees and what she does, and not really so much the experience of the neurodivergent person. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really an interesting way to see that piece, and I really, really enjoyed it. I really was touched by how Catherine was conflicted in what was happening in her life and how things were going in her life. And I just really thought that it was a really great way to bring up conversations and thoughts and ideas. And I absolutely enjoyed this and will definitely recommend it to my students going forward. This was my pick for my rule of reading prompt. I needed an orange cover, middle grade, between 2000 and 2015, and contemporary realistic fiction, which is this book. Covered all 4 of them, and it was a really great option, a really great choice. The last book that I finished was Didn't See That Coming by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This book is an old NetGalley ARC that I have. It has been out for a while, and I was able to check out the audiobook from from my Libby app. So while I was getting things ready for my citizens to come to Badger Grove State, I was listening to this book, and I listened to it throughout the week, and I did finish it on my way home. So Didn't See That Coming is about Kiki, and it takes place in Indonesia. Yeah, and Kiki is a gamer, and she hates the fact that girls who game are treated terribly in games. And so she created an online persona that makes it appear as if she is a male. And she strikes a friendship up with Sour Dog, and they become very, very close friends, and she really connects with this person, and it's wonderful until she realizes that not only is she kind of feeling a lot of things for Sour Dog, she also finds out that her new school is also the school of Sour Dog. And so now she needs to try to figure out how to explain her reasoning and everything that happened. It is really funny. It's quirky. It's really fun. It examines a lot of topics in terms of treatment and gender equality and things like that. It is absolutely a wonderful book, and it's really a lot of fun. I didn't realize it's the second book in a series. The first one was that was unexpected, and I may at some point go back and read the first one because it did sound interesting. But really what I loved about Didn't See That Coming is the You've Got Mail-esque-ness of it. It was just a phenomenal it was phenomenally inspired by You've Got Mail. It even laughs at itself by bringing in You've Got Mail, and I absolutely loved that part of it, which is why I requested it on NetGalley in the first place, and I'm really glad I got to it, and I'm excited to review that on NetGalley so that my percentage is going to go up. So it was a lot of fun, and I absolutely recommend it. This is a YA book. It does have some language that I don't necessarily appreciate all the time in my books. I can overlook that kind of language more than some people can. So there is definitely some unsavory language. In terms of what I'm currently reading, I am still working on Honeymoon Homicide by B.A. Trimmer. This book actually came out on Tuesday while I was gone, and I am almost done with this. I'm going to probably finish it soon, but the amount of time that I had to read physically while I was gone was just very minimal, and so I didn't get as much read as I wanted to, and it's okay. I will finish it very soon. I'm really enjoying it. The characters are wonderful, the setting's wonderful, and I'm really enjoying it. I just don't want to rush through it. So I am currently reading that. I'm also currently reading Happy Place by Emily Henry. This covers my travel prompt for a silent book club this month. I'm really enjoying this one so far as well. It's kind of quirky and fun. I'm 6 chapters in and kind of loving it. Emily Henry is one that has not disappointed me yet, so I am very anxious to see where this one goes. I do have Book Lovers that I haven't read yet, and that's one that I really want to get to, but this one is on my 12 by 12 Instagram challenge, so definitely want to get to that. So that's it. That's where my reading life is right now. It's been a little slow the last week because of life in the most beautiful way, and I am very excited to go on to next week and really get into all the books. all the books. So let me know what you think of any of the books that I talked about today down in the comments. I love to hear from you down there. Commenting, liking, and subscribing really help my channel grow, and I so appreciate you for doing that. I hope you're finding something wonderful to read, and until next time, happy reading. Bye!